Great. Hello, everybody. This is the Helm Dev meeting, the weekly one. It's December 7th, 2023. We're getting close to the end of the year. This is the first meeting after our Helm v3 retro. And Karen just pasted the link to the meeting notes and agenda and meeting notes in the Zoom chat. So, are there any announcements?
I don't think so, but do we want to look at the calendar for like, do we want to do the call the week between Christmas and New Year's, the
Right.
28th? Should we like preemptively cancel that one?
I think we should. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, the 28th. Okay, cool. And do we have a date yet for the NYC Kubernetes meetup?
No, we're still waiting. I think tentatively it's January 23rd, but we need to confirm that.
Right. Yeah, okay. Cool. Well, then I guess that's not an announcement. All right, great. Well, anybody else have any other things they want to announce? Okay. All right, well, for discussions, we've got a few of those. The very first one is I put this on the list like a few weeks ago or a week plus ago. This is really just trying to keep up with this. So if anyone, honestly, I have not really been doing a lot of front-end related things, period. And I realize that a lot of us maybe haven't. That's partly why our website and docs are the way they are. I mean, they're great, but just a bit outdated. So there's a tech docs issue, the CNCF tech docs issue where the team is already engaged and they're looking at bugs. They want to know what high priority bugs are from us. So I told them what I thought. And then I saw some feedback saying that it didn't seem to be reproducible, the one that another person pointed out. I think we have it in last week's chat. So anyway, for now, I'm just labeling those bugs, and if you see something or if you remember something, please raise it. Anybody have anything for that, or you want to just move on from that? Okay. All right. Oh, and the one last piece is that we had already discussed that I'll probably start a GitHub project for that so that we can, I mean, if we find more than like one bug or something, more than a few bugs, then it will probably make sense for that. And to be clear, they are actually interested in an upgrade of the actual framework, the whole website and docs and everything. And I'm actually interested in helping with that, believe it or not, because I kind of want to do something different a little bit. So I'm happy to do that and or tag team with others here in collaboration with the tech docs team. So, but they won't have time for that until at least January something or later.
How much of a read, or how much does the tech docs team want to just take on fixing bugs, or are they like thinking like we need to move to like another tech stack?
Yeah, well, that's really up to us. They confirmed that, we thought, hey, maybe some of the bugs are because this website was designed kind of some years ago, and a lot of these types of bugs are just not present in newer stacks. So they don't particularly want to. Their preference really would be to somehow collaborate with the community around each open source project to take that on. And they could give direction, they could help, they could collaborate. But their preference would be for us to do that. You know, it kind of makes sense. But in terms of, yeah.
So they don't have a stack that they're like, oh, we wish you were using this, and then everything would be better. It's everyone's just kind of doing their own thing, and there's no real unified strategy there.
No, well, there were some recommendations. I took some notes about it. I can bust those out whenever we want to look at them. But it's not a hard recommendation. It's really whatever works for us. In fact, they were very impressed that we have that we had a design engagement and have a full style guide for Helm. Most projects don't have that, so that's pretty cool. And that will help any designers or any people that are, you know, continuing to keep that design but update what's there. So, but they did say, just to your question, Ian, they did say, or the person that I spoke with who runs that says that it's easier right now to prioritize bugs because they can just kind of get in and do that. And I misspoke earlier when I said sometime at least January. That's not true. It's like probably not until March or something. So for a total overhaul. So if we want to, you know, kind of try to get that going a little sooner, or get prepared for that, then that would be good. So I don't even think I need to necessarily bring this up again until, I don't know, if we notice that users are reporting bugs for the front end, or, you know, I noticed one thing, like if you click on the header, an anchor, that stylistically you don't actually see the header for that anchor. It's kind of obscured by the top of the site design, which kind of makes it hard to read because you don't really know, like, headers are there for a reason, things like that. Wow, that was a long answer to a short question, but
yeah, that makes sense. So it's kind of up to us. It sounds like they maybe have some recommendations, but
yeah, that's just a little more meat on the bone. But
yeah,
cool. Now we can put it out of our mind for another year or something. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, cool. So then the next discussion item is, I'm not sure who made this discussion item. Anybody here? Asking us to take a look at this Helm issue 12488. That is subchart keys cannot be removed by parent chart.
It wasn't me that made the issue, but I do agree this is something which seems to constantly come up, and the problem is that all the scenarios seem to be very complicated, so it's not like entirely clear whether it's it's probably a regression caused by the changes to like make this thing sane, but like everything was always very convoluted in these examples that I never quite got to the bottom in a short amount of time to actually what the problem was. So maybe I can offer it as the whoever asked says to take another stab at understanding exactly what the breakage is, but I think presuming that that the breakage is caused by that change, then we're just going to have to tell people to adapt, because they were kind of relying on undefined behavior per se. So maybe it's worthwhile figuring out what the common scenarios are and writing up something to help people migrate.
Yeah, has it already been clarified that the bug is not present in 3.13.0? I've seen some comments, but I don't know if...
So 3.13.0 we should forget about. 3.13.2 has the latest changes. There was a fix in 3.13.2 is what I should say, related to values handling. So people should verify against 3.13.2 and forget about the other 13 series. And then the overall change went into the 13 series. So if the behavior is different between 12 and 13, then it's almost certainly caused by this change, and we just need to I don't know, figure out the scenarios that are impacting people, I think, and provide guidance.
I can help with that. Would you want to look at it together?
Sure.
I was just thinking I could maybe help guide that because that function, I originally wrote that functionality
Okay.
like way back. And if we don't have tests for, we probably don't have tests for deleting the keys in subcharts.
I think Matt added a bunch of tests. I can't remember.
Okay.
But it's probably a good point. Maybe if we can also identify where things are not tested in a code base, then
Yeah.
to retrospectively add to make sure it doesn't break in the future.
Exactly. Okay.
If you're looking for test coverage, with our current testing stuff, we have Go provides percentage of code that's running tests and all that stuff. We do generate that. In fact, I think it's generated in every pull request. You can actually go see the percent coverage. So if you go look in there, you'll see that today. And I think the target, because we use make, is like make test dash coverage or something like that. And that'll just run the command to do that. So if you want to see where to add testing, that's a great start.
Good idea. Good point. Nice.
Okay, cool. So as an action item, George will offline that.
Yep, sounds good. Yeah, I'll ping you on Slack.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Matt. That's great. Okay, then the next agenda item is by Dominicus. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, you can call me Dom.
Hey.
Fine. Hey everyone. Nice to meet you. So yeah, I asked around on Slack, I guess a month ago or so, whether it's appropriate to just dump items into the meeting and ask for reviews and try to push things. Somebody, might have been George, said that maybe it's not too bad of an idea. So here I am. So in short, yeah, I'm looking. This is not the contribution that I want to make on Helm, but I'm looking to do a small thing before I try to reach out to build something bigger. And this is literally coming from me breaking the Jenkins Helm chart, I don't know, a month ago, having to revert things there. And and while we were building that, we basically didn't have an obvious way of testing a chart using a subchart without actually publishing it into a registry. So this has been raised before. This is a revival of an earlier HIP and of an earlier PR, which was a revival of an even earlier PR. So this has been ongoing for a while. The earlier PR with the code, it had a pretty rigorous review, which then ended with somebody saying, please do a HIP. Somebody did a HIP, which then got no response. So I know what I'm facing potentially. So yeah, just looking to see what are the next steps and how can I push it through. I wrote up the HIP, I extended it, I updated the template that was used. It also addresses some of the PR comments that were in the original code PR. I did start working on the code PR as well. Basically, I rebased the things, ran the updates, resolved the conflicts, and it still compiles. So that's a start. Next step, and the tests still pass. They pass in CI, they don't pass locally. I don't know what's up with that. Yeah, the next step is to address all the basically comments that the original PR had. So I'll be doing that, but then I guess it's still before going too far with that. I'm looking what to do with that HIP then. How can this be moved forward, at least somewhat? Yeah, looking for feedback there.
The other week we talked about making a section in our template even to look at HIPs, but I don't think we ever really did that. What do y'all think about that? This is more of an ongoing, like how to resolve this kind of thing in an ongoing way. It's not a direct solution to your thing, but I'm just going to ask that for now.
You mean on the agenda, right?
I can see the list is pretty large over there, so I know that I'm jumping in with to the front of the queue. And
That's great though. That's partly what these meetings are for. Sorry, what did you say, Karen?
You meant to make it like an official agenda item, right? Or like something.
That's what I was
do.
thinking.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. I guess I'll add it to the template on the
Yeah.
above. Okay.
Like maybe above shout outs or something, like hip review.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, cool. So thank you.
For Dom's hip, should we? I mean, I can take a look at it, and just give my, I guess, semi-unofficial thoughts, but let's get a start. And I guess I'm just thinking. I guess the overall intention would be to eventually get to a pull request stage. I guess, yeah, if we all concur on the hip first, then it probably will follow.
Great.
I would much appreciate that. Yeah.
And Dominicus, I just wanted to also thank you for doing the bringing in the commits by YXX Hero and building on top of those. It helps to, give it where credit's due, and you just did a good job on that, so thank you.
I wouldn't be able to do it on my own at this point. It's a large code base, and there's a lot of work that went into it.
Okay, well, we do have a little bit of time. I'm wondering, would it be good to look at some of the other hips? And by that, I don't mean, right now, I don't mean hips that are in PR, but hips that are in draft. Why don't I just say I'd like to do that if no one objects? And just get like a quick. Brought it up quite kind of a while ago, and so I know that there's general consensus on this, but
this is the issue where basically we have when once hips have the PR is merged, they're effectively accepted, even though we haven't marked them as such.
Correct. Well, no, they're not effectively accepted. They are the hip process. We can merge a PR that's in. Excuse me, let me just show you real quick.
Yeah.
So, for it to essentially be accepted, for the relevant maintainers, you have to get the correct amount of approval. So, like if it's deals with the Helm CLI itself, the Helm repo itself, then you need 2 maintainer approvals on it, just like you would for a pull request over there. If it's something that deals with processing governance, then you need the appropriate number of approvers that deals with those kinds of things, which is laid out in the governance. So a little bit of it depends on what it is.
Yeah.
But that's what it takes to go in. And some of the things that are outstanding are actually things that we haven't addressed because they're for the org maintainers, who we need to probably clean that up and deal with that situation. They haven't been called and chased down for votes in a while and dealt with. And that's where some of it's at.
I've partially wondered if the draft status still makes a lot of sense, or if it just makes sense to keep things in PRs until they're actually approved so that they stay like in the queue of things. But
well, that would have
I guess I'd have to write a hip and get it
I was going to say
go
that
through
would have
draft
to
and
be
approved.
an extension of hip 0001, which we did not long ago or a while back move to accepted.
Yeah, and it would probably be a revision of HIP 001, which outlines the process. We would probably revise that one.
Cool. Do we think that there's that my understanding is that this was based on this was based on several other I think PIPs primarily, but also several other RFC type processes by different projects that are pretty successful. And under the preamble of that, of HIP 001, there's the list of acceptable statuses. So there's draft, accepted, provisional, deferred, rejected, final, and superseded. We definitely can't do all of that in a PR. You know what I mean? But by that, do you mean, George, just like remove the draft from that list and see the PR as the draft stage itself? Or
I think it was Ian who suggested that.
yeah. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, that kind of makes me feel like us going through the hips and draft status might be a wasted effort. I don't know. What do you think, Matt?
I don't know. We've
Yeah.
got 7 minutes left. Can we actually accomplish much over there?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not. I think maybe what I'll do is I'll put a little prep into it ahead of time and look at the ones that are now labeled draft that we've effectively accepted in practice, and just bring those up in the next meeting and say, do we feel like this is true? And just to kind of poke, yeah, then we can make PRs to change that status, and then we can do the normal process and PR review. Okay, so I guess I don't see any shout outs listed. Does anyone have any shout outs that they want to give? It's been itching in the back of your mind. I'm going to give a shout out to Dominicus for what I said earlier. I guess I already gave you that shout out, so that's a shout out. Yeah, very cool. And you're all awesome. So maybe, you know, next time we can put some on there if something comes up. And then there's a social media amplification section.
I guess this is a question for Rena. Is there a patch release that's still on scheduled for next week? If so, I'll be on the lookout for it and I can schedule a tweet
Yes.
for it.
I
Okay,
think
cool.
so. I haven't looked. I think there's some things that got merged in or should be merged in, or that, yeah, I think there's some things that have been merged that can go into it. It'll probably be minimal, but something will come out next week. And we do need to do some work for the minor release coming out next month, I think. So some of that's coming. Does anybody know, has the latest Kubernetes minor release come out yet? Or was it delayed?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I think it came out, but I could be wrong. It's probably better to search.
No, it's still in pre-release. So as soon as 129.0 comes out, then we're going to have to update our client libraries for it in order to get that pulled off. But it looks like it's been delayed. I'm not sure until when. But last week they did an RC1, and they haven't cut anything since then. So that may impact our January release because that's to update to Kubernetes 129.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Were there any other social media things, Karen, or is that the main one?
I think that's it.
All right, then what about assignments for next call? Does anyone want to volunteer to take on any of these roles? The moderator, who wants to be moderator?
I can do it.
Matt? Oh, sorry, Karen. Habit for me to just type it. And then what about notes?
I can do notes.
Cool. Issue triage? I'm gonna put my name down for that. It's been a while since I've done the issue side of it, and I think we really need it. And what about PRs?
I can do PR review. I always get distracted by issue triage, so I can spend some time trying to get some stuff
Perfect.
reviewed and sending it
Yeah, we
contain
can,
away.
or it's trade hats.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then do we know any which core maintainers can be present next week? Well, we know Matt and me. Yeah. Well then, that's great. All right. Well, we have, a minute left plus, and it was great seeing you all. We'll see you next week. And George, I'll see you in the meantime.
Awesome.
Bye.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Bye.